And the news break today as Brock Nelson is signed by the Colorado Avalanche to an extension to keep him on the team for 3 more years. And I don't know what they are thinking with this signing, as I don't think it's a very smart one for the Avalanche. So let's talk all about it. But first, welcome back to the O Hockey Show. You should probably subscribe to this channel if you want all the best updates to hockey in the world, including the finals of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and of course all breaking news like this and breakdowns of other teams. So subscribe, like this video, and comment that you did that, and I'll love you forever. But let's talk about why you're here. So Brock Nelson signs 3 years for $7.5 million to stay with the Colorado Avalanche past this season. And okay, first up, is this team friendly? Is it player friendly? Is it just a bad thing? Like where is the status of this contract? So this guy, 56 points, he's 33 years old, and also is built like a pencil, and he's got a very narrow head. And 3 more years to bring this guy to 36 years old. He's already not the quickest player in the world, and he's mainly known for his two-way game. You know, like he's been pretty clutch in playoff time, especially with the New York Islanders, but with his little stint with the Avalanche in round 1, in 7 games, he only gets 4 assists for them, and in the, of course, the second center position. And, yeah, he didn't really do too much. And he didn't really do anything during the regular season. $7.5 million, 56 points for a two-way guy that's really aged up there and a team that really needs to win now. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's okay. It's definitely an overpay. I think the best deal for a guy like Brock Nelson, I think 3 years is fine. I think 3 years to bring him towards the end of his career, and then after that, he'll probably sign somewhere for like $1 million or something, like, you know, like the Maple Leafs and guys like that. Teams like that always sign all these old guys for just like a league minimum sometimes. I think this is a good contract for him in term, but for money-wise, like 7.5, I feel like if he's a $5 million player, it's like, well, doesn't hurt to sign him. But $7.5 million for a team like the Avalanche that are really against the cap right now and need to pick their options to really bring home a dynasty team feels like a wrong signing to me. And I know that the free agency pool is very weak this year, and it is a tough spot for them to be in. But this guy does not feel like the guy they should have went for to me. But it's who they're settled with, right? And the biggest reason they needed him is that second center position. It's been the Avalanche's main Achilles heel for a while. I mean, really, like, depth is the main Achilles heel. But that second center position, ever since that to win the Stanley Cup, your team has to be overboard good. That's why the Panthers, that's why the Lightning, that's why the Avalanche, that's why the Blues, or whatever team you want to name, wins the Stanley Cup. They have to be over the top good. And to the year that they won this, the one cup that they have, they won it because they were just too damn good to beat. The second line had Nazem Kadri, had Andre Burakovsky in the lineup. Landeskog, of course, is now back. So that'll change things up a little bit. But, of course, like Landeskog, you have so many names, you just keep going down the list. But that main one of, like, Burakovsky on that second line, you have, or playing between whatever line he was on. Kadri, though. Nazem Kadri. And, of course, everyone knows at the time they refused to sign him to his big contract. And I feel like if you're looking at things now, Nazem Kadri versus, like, Brock Nelson or whatever contract you wanted to sign him to back then, winning the Cup, is way better of a choice. Nazem Kadri is still a beast on the Flames. And to me, if he was on this team, the Avalanche may have already had a second cup by now. I wouldn't be surprised by that. But they've decided to go with Brock Nelson after their aftermath of all that. And of course, that's all hindsight. You know, that's all hindsight. But what has happened just recently? Of course, the departure of Mikko Rantanen. They ship him out of town for Martin Necas, who Necas is an experienced centerman, so he could be the second line center, and they could spend some money on some wingers to build out depth. Also, Rantanen, right? Mikko Rantanen has now signed a $12 million contract, of course, with the Dallas Stars, and I guess the numbers he was going for were higher than Nathan MacKinnon. His extension, and that's one reason why he walked away from the Avalanche, but I guess there's disputed facts about that. I'm not entirely sure what the whole story is there. But what I do know for a fact is $12.75 million is now split between Charlie Coyle and Brock Nelson, two of their centermen. The middle six centermen. $12.75. Would you rather have Brock Nelson and Charlie Coyle on your team versus one Mikko Rantanen? I know Mikko Rantanen is disputedly, like, whatever he is currently in the world of the NHL on the Dallas Stars and his little stint with the Carolina Hurricanes. But when he was on the Avalanche, he's a he could be a Rocket Richard winner. Wouldn't even be surprised if he did win it. He was one of the best wingers in the NHL, consistently top 10 in goal scoring every single year. And they got rid of him for Martin Necas, which we'll see how he pans out. I don't really know yet, quite yet, where he's going to pan out on this team. But I feel like they have the solution already in their ranks. Martin Necas should be the... I know he worked really well with McKinnon, but I think Necas on the second line, and you find some better wingers instead, some offensively scoring wingers to fill on this wings of Necas and McKinnon. And of course, now you have Gabriel Landeskog back, so that's going to chew up some cap. But I don't know. To me, that feels a lot more promising than bringing back Brock Nelson on this contract. So I know this is going to be a quicker video, but I just feel like, to me, this is a poor signing. I think it's an overpay. I think it's a wrong choice for a team that's trying to win right now. And I get they're in a tough spot, but I feel like they already have a solution in their lineup, and that is put Necas on the second line. And you already have Nichushkin, you have Lehkonen, you have Landeskog. You currently have guys that can fill up some winger spots. You should spend this money that you're putting on Brock Nelson, and, I mean, Charlie Coyle is fine, but whatever. But, like, guys like Brock Nelson are who you let go of, and I think you fill in the sides of the team. And because this team is so good, you don't need to worry about, like, a fourth line. You need to worry about those first three lines, and I feel like we see teams like the Panthers, like the Oilers, like the Stars, like the Golden Knights, like the Hurricanes even, teams that get consistently towards the deep in playoffs. They find ways to fill in these holes on guys with smaller contracts and that are good role players that don't have take up tons of money. If the Avalanche can't do that, they are screwed. I don't know how you do it. I'm not an NHL GM, even though I'd like to be one day. Anyone want to give me a job? But yeah, I just they need, that is the solution that they need to find if they want to win a cup, because that is the goal now, is to win again, right? Of course, you know, they're 3 years now removed from their cup. Of course, you know, you win the cup one year, the next year you wanted to win it again, but you lose, and it's like, okay, gotta retool, and then this is the year where they fail again. So to me, they feel like they're just spinning their tires at this point, and they're kicking up all that's dust, and they just can't get far enough. And of course, that doesn't help that they're in the same divisions as the Stars, as the Jets. Well, I guess the Jets aren't really that much of a problem in the playoffs, but I don't see the problem for... The Avalanche, they need to figure this curse out, and I think they have solutions they can go down and paths they can find, but they're just not finding it. But that's all I got to say. I know I'm kind of come to a weird conclusion of nothingness, but Nelson, bad contract, and they're not going to win because of this. And I think this is going to really hinder them down the road. I know the cap is exploding, but I still feel like these precious little bouts of money, where they're currently in that window to win and succeed, other teams are taking huge grabs, like the Dallas Stars with Mikko Rantanen, and are much closer to winning a Stanley Cup again than I think the Avalanche are, and they're ticking on the clock, because in 3 years, McKinnon will be, I don't know how old actually, but he will not be, you know, things are going to be changing. So that's all I got to say. So that is the end of this video. So thank you for watching this. And of course, please, I'm begging you to subscribe. And until next time, too sweet. I hope you have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.